Another nail in, put another nail in my coffin!
Greetings everybody, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series, Nails in the Coffin, where we learn that with great kills there must also come great nails. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, you can read what Nails in a Coffin is all about in the section down below, because these videos really aren't film reviews, rather a breakdown of the kills, and I evaluate and rate how well the victim responded to their attack. So this week I'm covering a horror movie that many people probably never would have thought have existed, but I know, you saw the title. It's time to nail Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Quick synopsis of this film. After Christopher Robin leaves for college, Pooh and Piglet have to embark on a bloody rampage as they search for a new source of food. 5 years later, Christopher, now an adult having graduated from that college, returns to the 100-acre wood accompanied by his fiancée Mary. That should cover everything, so grab your honey pot, sit back, relax, and let the nailing begin. Christopher tells Mary about his woodland friends, and he wants to introduce them to her. They're at Pooh's treehouse. When they reach it, everything is in ruins, and this really confuses Christopher. He's asking, like, how could this happen? And Mary appears nervous and really doesn't want to be there anymore, but Christopher tells her she's not going to be in any danger. The couple enter Pooh's house, and the place is deserted. Christopher calling out, Pooh, Piglet, but, there's no answer. Nobody's there. Mary finds a photo, and she shows it to Chris, asking if this is him. He says, yes, but why is it like that? We don't get to see what's on the photo. Then they hear something. Mary gets scared, and she convinces Chris for both of them to hide. The couple are able to sneak out of Pooh's place without being noticed. But before they can actually leave the area, they get a surprise when Piglet appears from behind and wraps a chain around Mary's neck. She's calling out to Chris for help, but Piglet just shoves him aside. Chris is pleading for Piglet to stop, but it's useless. Piglet finally pulls back on the chain hard enough to break Mary's neck. Our first set of nails go to Mary, and she earned herself 2.5 nails in a coffin. She wasn't stupid at all. She was actually pretty smart. This was all Chris's fault. Mary knew something was not right when they got there. She was uncomfortable, and she wanted to leave. However, Chris was trying to convince her this is all okay. I don't know what the hell he saw that made him think things were okay. Mary heard some noises. She wanted to hide. Smart. Also, when Piglet was strangling the poor girl, all Chris really did was cry, asking him to stop. He really didn't try much of anything to save his wife. Trying to stop Piglet, punch Piglet, do something instead of sitting there crying, you moron. But, yeah, none of this was her fault. She was smart trying to leave. If he had listened to her from the start, they may have been able to avoid some harm. She did nothing wrong, so I feel 2.5 nails in a coffin is a good fit for her. A few weeks ago, I created the Dumbass Award, and this is for when someone does something so stupid, but they were able to avoid being killed. Christopher more than deserves this Dumbass Award. He was a chicken shit. Because of him, Mary died. He didn't try and help her. Instead of just sitting there crying. You didn't try and punch Piglet, do anything. He didn't knock you out. He didn't injure you. You did nothing to try and save your wife. You never listened to her. When you did, it was too late. You're a dumbass, and you are definitely a good fit for my Dumbass Award.
Dumbass!
So Chris is crying and pleading with Winnie and Piglet, apologizing for leaving. They slowly approach him, silent and steady. And Chris is trying to let them know he didn't know this would happen. Reminding them that they had fun all those years ago. He's cowering on the ground. And then we see a cartoon graphic of the duo dragging Chris away. He's hogtied and shown the remains of Eeyore. Next, he's shown burning in a fire. Tina, she's on her way to meet the rest of her university friends. Maria, Jessica, Alice, Zoe, and Laura. They all rented a cabin in the 100-acre wood for a little getaway. The road is blocked, and Tina has to go rest her way on foot. She calls her girlfriends and lets them know that she's lost, but she's definitely still on her way. While Tina's on the phone, she turns around to see Pooh standing in the distance. She's startled by this, and Pooh starts charging, running towards her. She screams, takes off running. Pooh's definitely not making it easy with him, or, definitely hot on her heels. She runs into a work shed, crawling underneath the sliding door. But she hides behind some equipment while Pooh walks in, and she's too scared to move or even make a sound. Tina has a brief moment of reprieve when Pooh walks away, so she slowly gets up, checking to see if the coast is clear, so she can find an exit. But she turns around, there's Pooh, grabs her by the back of the head while she screams in terror. She's trying to fight him off, screaming, begging him, but he just bashes her head into a wood chipper over and over again, destroying this poor girl's head, and he finishes her off by dumping her into the wood chipper. I'm awarding Tina 2.5 nails in a coffin. She didn't waste any time when she saw Pooh in the middle of the woods, and he starts charging towards her. She saw she was in danger. She sprinted. Not a little bullcrap jog, that you see in a lot of horror movies. She sprinted. She hid in the garage and only came out when she thought it was safe. You know, compared to all the other movies I've covered on this channel, well over 100 plus, you know, she really did better than most. Even when Pooh had her by the hair, she was still screaming, trying to fight him off, get him off of her. She had that fight in her, a survival instinct, and that's why I'm giving her 2.5 nails in the coffin. Next up is Laura. She's relaxing alone in the hot tub at night, enjoying a nice glass of champagne, unaware of the 2 visitors she's about to meet. Pooh and Piglet creep up behind her in the tub. He grabs her head and holds a rag over her mouth. She's kicking and thrashing around, trying to break free, but after a few moments she does pass out, and our killer doer pull out of the tub and carry her off. Lara wakes up gagged and hogtied with her head on the pavement. She's in front of her car with the engine revving. The bright headlights of the car are shining on her in a yellow hue. She tries to scream, but it's no use. No one's going to hear her to get to her in time. Piglet holds his foot on her back, pressing her down, and Pooh continues to rev the engine. Pooh's little buddy gives him a nod, and Pooh slowly pulls the car forward in front of Laura's head, and he slowly drives over her head, killing her in a very brutal manner. I'm going to give Laura 2 nails in a coffin. There was nothing she did wrong or foolish. She was just chilling in a hot tub, having a glass of champagne, and I'm presuming it was chloroform, which was going to knock her out when she was grabbed from behind and overpowered. She woke up hogtied, unable to move, especially with Piglet standing on her. All she could do was scream, and that she sure did. She wasn't given a chance to live here. On this channel, kills like this one, I tend to go down the middle and give them a very solid and respectful, though, 2 nails in the coffin. Zoe, Maria, Alice, and Jessica find that Laura's being killed when they followed her screams. They didn't get there in time. They're trapped in the house, and Pooh and Piglet are stalking them from the outside. The 4 of them can't even make sense of what the hell they're looking at, and I don't blame them. While Pooh is looking through the window, Piglet cuts the power. This terrifies the 4 young women, so Alice and Zoe head to the kitchen to go find something to defend themselves with. Zoe and Alice, we next see them armed with knives in the pool house. They hear someone approaching, and Piglet shows up, knocks Alice down with a hit with the sledgehammer, and he closes in on Zoe. This causes Zoe to fall back into the pool. Piglet is standing over Alice's body, but Zoe screams at him to stop, so he changes attention towards her. Piglet picks up his sledgehammer. He gets in the pool with Zoe. He's slowly moving towards her in the water. She's desperately trying to swim to the edge of the pool while Piglet is closing in step by step. She's struggling to swim to the edge while Piglet is swinging the sledgehammer at her. Meanwhile, Alice starts to regain her consciousness after being knocked out. She wakes up in time to see Piglet smash Zoe across the head with the sledgehammer, killing her. Zoe earned herself 2.5 nails in a coffin. You know, she saw Alice was in danger, and she called out, getting Piglet's attention, drawing him away from her girlfriend. She also tried to swim away from Piglet when he got in the pool. Now, I can't judge her on her swimming ability since I'm not a good swimmer at all. I know enough not to drown, so I really don't know if she had enough time to get to the edge of the pool or out of the water. Also taking into consideration the shock and fear she was in. But the sacrifice for Alice and the fact that she did try and get away was more than enough to earn her 2.5 nails in the coffin. The sight of seeing her girlfriend murdered right in front of her eyes, this causes Alice to pass out. Shortly later, Maria and Jessica arrive at the pool house, and they find Zoe's body dead in the water, and they look up to see that Alice is being taken away by Piglet and Pooh. Jessica and Maria reach Pooh's house, and they find Alice and start to untie her. When Alice wakes up, it dawns on her that Zoe actually was killed. She realizes it. Maria tells her, hey, they have to be quiet and you need to get the hell out of here. While they're leaving, they hear someone scream, and they can't leave whomever it is. They have to go save that person as well. They find Christopher Robin. He's been beaten and tortured by Pooh. They free him from his restraints, but then they hear a scream again, and Chris tells them it's another woman that they brought in this morning, and the 3 women go find to save her as well. Alice, Maria, and Jessica find Charlene. She's bloody and tied up, her face being mauled by Piglet. They fear and start to carry her away, and they're looking for a way out of the Pooh's place. Charlene then sees her reflection in a mirror, and she's horrified to what Piglet has done to her. She starts screaming. The other women are trying to calm her down as not to draw attention to their location. So she picks up Maria's gun, which she had from earlier, and she's like, she's not going to leave till she makes Piglet pay for what he did to her. Charlene gets her wish, and she gets Piglet. They're circling each other around a fire, and it's a pretty cool looking shot. She wants vengeance. It's the only thing on her mind. She goes to fire the pistol, but it doesn't work. She's backing up, but she backs up into Pooh. Piglet squeals, and then Pooh pours honey all over Charlene's face after knocking her to the floor. He's standing on her arms, holding her down, which allows Piglet to maul her to death. I had to think about this one for a minute, but I'm going to award Charlene with 1.5 nails in a coffin. I could understand her wanting revenge, but this was not the right time to go for it. She was beaten, weak, and frantic. I feel she should have focused on getting the hell out of there. Then maybe she could have made a plan, come back with a howitzer or something to try and get her revenge on Piglet. At this time, she wasn't in the right frame of mind, but I can understand her being so crazy right now. It wasn't a smart decision for her to go after Piglet at this time, but I have to give her credit for showing some bravery wanting to go after him. And I was torn on this one, and I guess I decided on just giving her only 1.5 nails in a coffin. Alice, Marie, and Jessica can only look in horror as Charlene is killed. Their presence does alert Pooh and Piglet. Marie and Jessica take off running. Alice doesn't move fast enough. She does have a pick of a sledgehammer as Piglet gets close, and when he's close enough, she hits him with it, knocking him out. Next, we see Piglet struck up with chains, and Alice is standing over him. She's taunting him, saying he's going to pay for what he did, smashing him with the sledgehammer. She hits him on top of the head, taking him out. Piglet's squeal alerts Pooh, who was hunting Maria and Jessica, so he runs back to the treehouse. Alice has Piglet knocked out with his head on the ground, or maybe he's dead, I don't know. She's about to deliver another blow, but before she can do that, Pooh shows up behind her, grabbing her and choking her against a tree. He's holding up a machete, and he slowly inserts it into her mouth, all the way through the back of her head, pinning her to the tree. Sweet Alice earned herself 1 nail in the coffin. She should have run with the others, but she didn't. She got the drop on Piglet, give her credit for that. However, she also fell into the trap of wanting to yell a bunch at the person they're about to kill. Just kill this son of a bitch and stop wasting time. Happens all the time in horror movies. You yell at the person that you're trying to kill, giving them time to get away or whatever. It's just, when you have someone dead to rights, kill them right away. Then you can yell at their prone body. But I think she just wasted too much time, and for that, she died. Maria and Jessica make their way to a road where they're able to flag down a passing car. In this truck are Colt, Tucker, Logan, and John. Our 2 women tell these men that someone is trying to kill them, but the guys think they're on drugs or something. Then one of the 4 men notice Pooh standing in the middle of the road. Maria and Jessica are scared and they jump in the truck while the 4 guys prepare themselves to teach this bear a lesson. They slowly walk towards our furry friend, asking him why he's messing with these girls, but Pooh just stands there still and silent as the 4 men surround him. Armed with a crowbar, sledgehammer, bat, and a bottle, the 4 men start to beat the crap out of our pal Winnie. It's not having much of an effect on him. A bottle is broken over the back of his head. It only makes Pooh look down for a moment. He turns around and faces Colt, who hit him with the bottle. Pooh raises his hand up and smacks the crap out of Colt. Colt runs back to the truck where the girls are, and then he dies. Colt, you get 1 nail in the coffin. He just stood there watching this giant bear-human hybrid raise his hand up and smack him with never moving. That was dumb. You wouldn't stand there in front of Andre the Giant and watch him raise his arm up to hit you. You'd move. You'd get out of the way. Do something. Block. Run. Don't just stand there and slowly watch somebody raise an arm up. You know they're going to hit you. He did nothing, and for that, he only gets 1 nail in the coffin. Tucker tries to punch the bear, but all this results in him getting his hand chopped off. Then his head smashing the mush. Pooh slashes Logan across the throat with a machete, killing him. Then I guess he sends a swarm of bees to kill John as he's running away. It's hard to tell. Tucker, he gets 1 nail in the coffin. He went to punch Pooh with his left hand instead of using the bat that was in his right hand. He also fell into the trap by forgetting how his legs work. Logan, he also gets 1 nail in the coffin. He also forgot he had legs. He just saw his friends get his head smashed into pulp, and he really didn't run or even move. John, he earned himself 1.5 nails in the coffin. He was the last of the group to die, and I'm guessing he died from the bees, but at least he ran, and it wasn't until he saw all 3 of his friends die, but he did more than the others, not much, just squeaking out that extra half a nail. But they're really not saying much for this guy. Maria and Jessica get the truck started and they drive away, but Pooh is staying in the middle of the road. Maria, wise choice, runs him over. They don't see him in the road anymore. That's because he's climbing up the back of the truck. He gets on the roof, through the bed, and like he's Michael Myers in Halloween 4. Eventually, Maria slams on the brakes, sending Pooh flying off the car, and the screen cuts to black. Maria is slowly waking up after being knocked out when her head hit the steering wheel. She looks over to the left and sees Jessica being pulled out of the truck by Pooh. She watches as Pooh carries Jess in front of her, standing in front of the road. She's trying to regain her composure, and then Marie looks up again, and Pooh is holding Jessica's severed head. Getting close to the end here, only 2 more deaths to nail. I'm going to award Jessica 2 nails in a coffin. Pretty much because she ran when she was able to, and there's not much else to this one. She didn't really do much. She was in the truck. She wasn't driving. But what she did do, I guess she did enough, and I think she's going to eke out getting 2 nails in the coffin. Maria, As she's waking up, she tries to start the truck again, but it won't start because movie. Pooh closes in and tosses Jess's head at the hood of the truck, sending Maria into a panic. Maria doesn't know what to do, and next Pooh is pulling her out of the truck. He gets her in front of the truck and holds her head by the headlight, raises his knife, but before he can kill her, here comes Christopher Robin, who slams into Pooh with the car. While Chris was getting Maria and trying to escape, Pooh got out from between the cars and is now standing in front of the injured duo as the car explodes. Pooh gets a hold of Maria and is about to kill her. Chris stops him momentarily. He's apologizing for leaving the way he did. He pleads with Pooh to let Maria go. "Take me instead," he says. Pooh stares at Christopher Robin and says, "You left," and then slashes Maria's throat, killing her. The final set of nails go to Maria, and I'm going to award her with 3 nails in the coffin. She did pretty darn well in this movie. She took a hell of a beating at the end of it. She saw all of her friends die right in front of her eyes. She slammed on the brakes to get Pooh off the truck, which was smart, after attempting to run him down, which was smart. She fought very hard to kill Pooh and get free at the end. She was smart this whole movie. I really didn't see anything she'd do stupid. She knew to get weapons. She knew to go, try and get to safety. She knew to run. She didn't waste time. I was about to award her with 2.5 nails in the coffin, but as I sat here writing the script, it felt more like a 3 nail in the coffin death. And what sold me was the last 20 minutes of the movie. So Maria, congratulations, you get 3 nails in the coffin. The movie ends with Christopher Robin's running into the darkness as Pooh kneels over Maria's corpse, repeatedly stabbing her in the head. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my nails in the coffin for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Here's a summary of all the nails I've awarded. And the average nails in a coffin for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is 1.79 nails, which is very high on my nails in a coffin spectrum. So I went back through everyone, make sure I felt I was pretty good on everything, and you know what? I'm confident in all my ratings. And yeah, this one is definitely on the higher end of all the movies I covered, which I find it kind of interesting, but I can only rate what I see, and I saw most of the people in this movie doing fairly well. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. You know the usual. Help me grow this channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks. I'm covering a trilogy of movie from decades ago. Now, there are more than 3 films in this franchise, but I just want to cover the first 3 for now, since they're all amazing films. If you have a guess, let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you in about 2 weeks for another episode of Nails in a Coffin. Again, I'm taking some time off to work on my special project. More on that to follow. Till then, take care, stay safe, be good to yourselves, and most importantly, be good to each other. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. Remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.